Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot, and welcome to today's reading. So, I got a couple of notes overnight which are influencing today's reading, and we've been doing some readings over the last couple of days. I've gotten a lot of notes from people who your person has reached out to you. You're trying to figure out how to navigate it. The defense mechanisms have been kind of kicked out from under them. Like they tried to employ their defense mechanisms, their ego. Things aren't necessarily turning on for them. So it's like they find themselves accidentally hitting send on a text. It's not really an accident, but it's something that they have historically had defenses in place to avoid doing, and it gets by. Like they're able to actually communicate. They're able to actually do so in what feels like a more human, healthy, vulnerable sort of way. And yesterday we jumped in and did like a rescue reading on how do you even interact with this person now that you're in this place. You've spent so much time not being able to interact. But today it's kind of, I got a note or two that was basically, I'll sum up and say, what about the rest of us, where we haven't received communication from this person yet. We're feeling all of the feelings in the background, all of those feelings of vulnerability coming up, but the it's very enticing, and it attracts you even more closely to energy that's pretty much sitting on top of you. But by the same token, without that interaction, and you know darn well that you don't want to reach out in a lot of cases, what are you supposed to do? How do you cope with those feelings of togetherness when you're not feeling that sense of togetherness? I guess that's really the question that we're going to ask. So it is a general reading, as always. It is a general reading for this collective. So if you feel like it's resonating with you, you may be part of the collective. Maybe you want to go ahead and subscribe. Maybe you want to go ahead and take a closer look at some of the messages that have already come out in the past, and just kind of see if there's anything there that might resonate with you. So we're going to jump in, and I do like the way I've been asking the question around energetic and emotional backdrop the last couple of days. So I'm going to go ahead and keep that emotional and energetic backdrop for today. And, it can go a little bit before today, can continue a little bit beyond, but we're essentially just looking at what is it that we're looking at today that would help us to better put the rest of the reading in context. So that's where we'll start, with that emotional and energetic backdrop. And ooh, was that a death card? Oh, it is, but it's in the reverse. So it's a change that doesn't want to be made. You and your person may be struggling with a change that needs to be made but doesn't want to be made. And this is completely easy to believe. There is definitely that energy in the air of the death card. The cool thing about the death card is that you allow something to end and then something amazing grows in its place. But it's not always easy to say goodbye to something or to allow something to end. And that's kind of what both of you are experiencing there. It's a difficulty kind of getting to that next step. In your case, it may be that thing that you've been trying to end for some time, whether it is some sort of habit. It's generally going to be a habit because it's something that you just flow back to, but it doesn't have to be like an addiction, like a chemical addiction or anything. It could simply be, I'm not going to think about this person constantly and in this way anymore. Maybe it's obsessive overthinking that you're looking to get away from, but it's something that actually gives you some comfort on some level, and so it's very difficult to walk away, whether it's that or not. It is something that gives you some comfort on a level that it makes it more difficult to walk away. But your person is feeling something very similar. That's what I would say. Let's see what else comes out in this energy and emotional backdrop. So we've got the Star card, still feeling like there's a little bit of a hitch in the giddy up. This is a lack of, is this it? Yep. This is a lack of, the Eight of Cups in reverse. It's a lack of belief in what you have witnessed with your own eyes, or this is shared energy. So it could be either of you, could be both of you. But basically it's you've witnessed something and you're not quite sure what to do about it or how to believe it. And there's this sense of not necessarily believing it. With the Star card, it's putting hopes on hold. This is kind of the energy of putting hopes on hold when it feels like there's too much hanging on it. There's too much hanging in the balance. This is the person who writes the text, and then their defense mechanisms actually allow them to not hit send. But there's still a lot of there's still a lot of anxiety that comes with this, and we know that a lot of your people do have a strong sense of anxiety. And with the Queen of Swords in reverse here, like this as well, it's not necessarily being able to act on the truths that you're feeling or that they are feeling. So I feel like that comes out pretty strongly here. This anxiety, the putting your own hopes on hold, not trusting what you've learned so far, not being willing to move forward. There's a lot of fear and trepidation in this energy. Um, yeah, the Nine of Swords is direct anxiety. The Queen of Swords in reverse is actively not being able to live in the truth. And then nope, these aren't part of it. As I was like, oh gosh, what's this? This Five of Swords. No, thank heaven it's not part of it. Although it looks like we've got plenty to work with and work through. That is part of it. So it makes coupling up or partnering up particularly difficult. This energy that they're in kind of wants to pull them closer to you. It makes them want to come closer to you, but by the same token, the fears are making it incredibly difficult for them to, I guess, stay moving in your direction. And so they don't get as far as hitting send, and they're at least able to they're able to stop themselves from communicating. And we knew that some of the people that we were reading about were gonna, the ones where the communication happens all of a sudden, we saw that the communication happens and it kind of surprises them. Well, there were also definitely going to be some people who were capable of stopping themselves from hitting send. So that's really what this feeling is. This is that, yeah, I got really close. I'm very attracted, but not quite there. And the problem is you can feel it. So you're kind of being dragged through it. There's a desire to make things right, but an inability to do so from this very emotional standpoint. Here is a person who is able to give love. They're able to experience love, but right now they're unable to truly access it very well. It's a lot less of a barrier to their ability to access their emotions than what they've had in the past few weeks. However, it is still there. And in this case, in this energy, it's very much just kind of not moving forward, despite the fact that, again, feeling that strong tie, that strong balance, understanding that this is a too good to be true sort of feeling. It's there's a too good to be true feeling about it, but it's generating fear rather than happiness. The Four of Wands and the Ten of Cups are both kind of, hey, this is beautiful. Come to the party. This is going to be wonderful. Come on in. The water's fine. But with this King of Cups, you get a no, thank you. I'm not in a position to do this right now. And it's like, really, why aren't you? You know, there's nothing here that works against you and lots that works in your favor. And they would come back and say there's a ton of fear that works against them, and makes this very challenging for them. So this is something that it's not about their feelings for you so much as their ability to work through just how they operate. And they're not in a position to be able to change it right now necessarily. So we've got some people that are absolutely working through it. But since those communications have started, we've also had some that kind of wavered. And so the other note that I got that kind of really struck me and made me want to do this reading was, hey, I was having this really good communication with my person. We were talking for about a week. It's been very positive, and suddenly they've just completely gone cold again. We're back to the one word answers. We're back to the emojis. What happened? And it's that fear winning over. It's like, I expected this whole thing right here feels like the Strength card in reverse. That's what it feels like. So the Strength card, as we have known always as we were doing these readings, that it's really it's the struggle between fear and the strength that allows you to overcome fear. And so when we see it in the reverse, we see that the fear is winning. And that's basically what happens in this energy. It's not going to be everybody, but it's out there. And I guess it is everybody. It's just how it's going to impact them. So some of your people are going to be like, you know what, I'm already got a conversation going. I already hit send. I'm ready to communicate with this. You still may notice a little bit of pulling back habitually because it is a habit for them. It's not great for partnership, for your union. Actually, it doesn't impact your union at all, but it does impact the flavor of your partnership. This is a lot of emotion that's trying to balance on a very small head of a pin, though. So it's not necessarily surprising that there are going to be some hiccups with it. So let's get in there a little bit more. The question was really about, how do you cope with feelings of togetherness when we aren't together? So we see in the energy here, kind of the backdrop. Here's the emotionally why they're not responding the way that you would want them to respond, or maybe that they were previously responding. Let's dig in a little bit more about this and just kind of see what is it that's creeping, or what is it that's creating those feelings of um, distance and fear. What is it that's kind of drawing you apart? Let's characterize the situation a little bit more, and then let's look at what you're supposed to do about it. So we've seen the backdrop of the energy, so we can take that into consideration um, while we figure this out. And actually, I just dropped a card behind the table, so I'm going to go back there. I'm going to shut the car. I'm going to shut the camera off and go back there and get it real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. The card that fell behind the table did not want to be used as part of the reading, but it was the Three of Wands. Thought that was kind of interesting because that's the card of having things kind of set into motion. It's already left the other shore. It's heading your direction. You may now observe for your ships to come in, and it showed up, but it didn't show up as being part of the reading. I just thought it was interesting that that's what fell behind the table. So I thought I'd let you know. Probably a couple of you that were wondering. Okay, so let's go ahead and see here. We've got the Page of Wands. And again, like I said, we're further characterizing this situation here. This is kind of the, you've got the inhale and the exhale, where the inhale is kind of that feeling of, hey, the defense mechanisms have been taken out, there's vulnerability, and now here's the exhale where the other shoe drops. The Page of Wands is them kind of getting their wits back about them and saying, whoa, I am so not ready to move in this direction. I can't believe I almost hit send. So it's not going to be for everybody, because some of you did hit send, but even some of the ones who did are sitting over there saying, what have I done? What have I done? I can't maintain this. And it's all about the fears that they've got going on in them. So, what is happening in their emotions, I wonder? If we don't get that to come out here, we're going to have to look at it in the extended. So we've got the Seven of Swords. That is trust. But it's trust that they trust themselves to be able to get out of Dodge, but not necessarily to be able to manage the situation emotionally properly. And that's what I'm getting there with that. There is this sense of they have a strong sense of self-reliance, but it's not exactly a healthy set of strength of self-reliance, because or a sense of self-reliance, because they're trusting themselves to be able to do something that they don't even think is the right thing to do. They just know they're going to be good at it, but they're prepared for this because they're able to execute on it, I should say, rather than prepared for it. There's not a strong sense of preparedness, but there is a strong sense of deserving. It's almost got this edge of entitlement to it. There's almost a feeling of entitlement, like they should just be able to come back whenever they want, and you'll just be sitting there and willing to take things in. We know that after yesterday's reading, there is some need for the development of some boundaries, and these might be boundaries that you now have to develop because you didn't have them with this person in the past and didn't really even see a need for them. But with the way that they're thinking about things, you can gently nudge them into place. And even if you're dealing with a strong narcissist, you should be able to nudge them into place under this energy, not necessarily under most energies, because that's a really tough thing to do. This King of Pentacles has almost an edge of narcissism to it, which is pretty unusual for the King of Pentacles. So he's really steady, really sure of himself, but this isn't a real stable King of Pentacles. And it's interesting because it's coming out a little bit like an unstable King of Wands. And it has a lot to do with this perspective that they've not yet gained. It's something that they haven't figured out, but they're kind of right on the edge of it, and they're misinterpreting it. So, there is some confusion that's happening for them, but I don't get the sense they recognize it as confusion. With the Seven of Swords, they are trusting themselves to be able to protect themselves, but they're not necessarily doing it for the right reasons. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Wands, and it's not, again, a super balanced Knight of Wands. This is kind of that feeling of being able to walk away and not worry about it. It's cutting and running. Only we know from their experience, they've tried this with you and it didn't work especially well. But this is them saying, I'm going to do what I know, and these are the things that historically have worked pretty well for me. I'm going to go ahead and execute on that cutting and running. And they don't even feel good about it. They just trust themselves to be able to execute on getting out of the way. There's a lot of fear there, a lot of struggle, a lot of not listening to what is very clearly in front of them. They have messages that are downloading to them way more clearly than they typically do, and yet they're able to completely bypass those, ignore those, decide that they are somehow not relevant, maybe hear them loudly and clearly and still say, I'm just going to walk away. I'm not doing this right now. So there's that a strong sense to that. And yet they're willing to struggle in a lot of places where it doesn't make a lot of sense to struggle. There's definitely kind of that feeling as well. So this is an unproductive energy that springs up in them that is creating a lot of turmoil and absolutely too much noise for them to be able to make use of that vulnerability that's come up. Part of it, though, and I guess this isn't surprising, is that they've still got a lot going on with their third party situation that makes them pretty uncomfortable. And it's difficult for them to work through. There's work that still needs to be done both with your situation and with that third party situation. There's that strength card. And they're not really solving it. In this energy, they're not really solving that third party situation. They're also not really solving your situation that they have with you. They're kind of in a place where how do you describe this? It's like they don't want to work on this right now. They want to not have to think about it. They've been overwhelmed by this energy of vulnerability that's come to them, and maybe for a short time they felt like they could do it, and then all of a sudden they felt like, okay, I'm at my limit. I no longer have the strength to go beyond this fear that's taking over. They're not in a place to find the wisdom with the Hermit card. So we have that strength card that this whole stack felt like over here. We have the Hermit card that's saying they're not really working on this. They don't really want to work on this, and yet they've got unfinished business. They've got both unfinished business with this third party and with you. And basically they are kind of holding up and not wanting to deal with literally any of it right now. We're going to have to get more deeply into this because this is just kind of a just getting everything away from them sort of feeling. They had a little bit of a taste of vulnerability and nothing bad happened and they still freaked out. Some of them got far enough to contact you and they're still working through it, and they're working through these feelings of fear that have now cropped up for them. Some of them will be successful, but the people that that requested this have never gotten as far as even hitting send on that text or the phone call. You know, they haven't made it that far. It's this is a particularly it feels like they've tied themselves up. It's got not quite a Eight of Swords feel to it, but a lot like that. It's very much a feeling of having tied themselves up and now they don't even understand which way they are going to go. Like they kind of don't know what they want, but they definitely don't know what they're going to do. There's a lot of back and forth and inconsistency in this energy, defense mechanisms that are half employed, that aren't really working right now. We're definitely going to have to get in and get a feel for how your person is feeling with this, and I'm looking forward to doing it in the extended, because I feel like the people who specifically asked that question are going to want to go to the extended. And that's going to be a smaller group. We're going to get in a little bit deeper and more specific. Yeah, well, that's what we'll do there. Let's take a look at now how you are to cope, where your focus ought to be as you're working through this, because it's like there's extra pain for you to deal with, and yet you've got this almost a need for that pain to step to the side so you can do the work that you're doing. And that is basically what your recommendation is. It's not sublimating that pain. I want to be very clear about that. But it is also not prioritizing it and choosing to live by it. You've got the answer to a lot of your pain and difficulty here happening with this tower that you are now allowing to fall or unable to stop from falling. But I get the sense that you're allowing it to fall. I feel like this is the thing that you've been trying to work on, that you also had been very much avoiding working on. So the answer is to allow this to happen. And like I said, I feel like a lot of you are doing it, or don't have a choice but to allow it to happen. But also it's a matter of almost intentionally directing your attention away from the pain. You're not sublimating it. You're not going to cover it up. You're not going to repress it. You're just not going to focus exclusively on it. You're going to instead want to focus on this change that's happening in your life. And honestly, that's the biggest, I could almost not pull other cards here for you. That is kind of the message. Let's see what clarifies it though. And oh, you're very much, okay, this unlocks huge things for you. I think we've said this in every reading for the last 3 or 4 days. There's something huge that you're moving toward. It unlocks huge things for you if you're able to execute. It's relevant to that Tower card and Death card that we kept seeing come out for you in the reverse where, and this goes way back. So it's not like we just saw it and saw it over and over in the last week. It's like we've been seeing this over time for you. I've been getting notes from you for weeks, months maybe, about, okay, I definitely know what the thing is. I just don't want to do it right now. I'm totally hiding from it. This is you not hiding from it, and this is it starting to like open the blinds and allow the happiness and the joy to come in. So you've got the Magician here, which is suggesting this is so right. The direction to go is so much going to just deliver the power to control your own in destiny and situation into your own hands. But it's also going to, it's really not about putting it just into your hands. It's about giving you that connection with the universe that you need to be able to co-manifest, because that's where the magic really happens. And you've got this Three of Wands here that suggests you're already down the path. So you've already got some progress made toward this Tower situation, even if it is mostly in the realm of your thoughts at this time. This is kind of a neat thing. It keeps coming up, and it's like your answer is right in front of you, and you just don't want it. And I got to tell you, I have been telling you for the last few days, this is me. I'm in the collective, and this is me. I don't want to do this thing that I know I need to do. It is in my hands. I do have it set up. I understand that there is something big that's waiting for me on the other side. Still don't really want to do it. But I've got the perspective, just as you do, to understand that it's going to make a huge difference. It's going to make a huge difference, and it's going to be very worth it when you get to the other side. However, and don't feel too badly about this, even as you're seeing your feminine energy kind of come into a more balanced place, there's also this sense of stopping and starting. So you may not have constant progress in the right direction. It may be you get some really good progress and then you have a setback. Please don't let the setback stop you. That's the feeling here. But I get the sense that with this feminine energy that's coming to you and starting to play out very nicely, you're going to do fine. You're going to understand that this setback is not the end of the world. It's like when we meditate and intrusive thoughts come in and you don't judge and you just let it flow away and go back to what you were doing. That can be pretty tough to do. Sometimes it's very frustrating that these intrusive thoughts keep coming in and you're like, I meditate every day and have since 2016, and I still look at the situation sometimes and just go like, what is going on? How come I can't meditate today, any kind of consistent way, and it's just nothing but intrusive thoughts, and there seems to be like no pattern. There's no reason for it. Some days are just like that. And if you read the book that I recommended back in October, so I did had a lot of you asking about meditation, and so if you go out to the bonus playlist, you'll find a video on meditation and then a video on the mantras that I referred to. And those mantras you'll find them all throughout these readings on a regular basis. Sometimes I specifically refer to them. Sometimes I just put them out there. But if you go and you listen to the mantras, you'll say, oh yeah. In fact, sometimes even in those exact words, we see those. So with this feminine energy starting to really balance in your ability to manifest, improving, you're going to see a little bit less frustration maybe on those days where you're not able to do what you need to do with this change as much as you'd like. I would say don't take the pressure off, but just don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, so how else are you going to cope with this? Because this is about really taking your energy and focusing it on something that you need to do for yourself. And in so doing, it's not going to take your pain away, but it does redirect your energy away from that pain a little bit, gives you a new perspective, and it's one that is dreadfully, sorely needed on both sides. Okay, so you've got an Eight of Wands. The energy to move in this direction is excellent for you right now, which totally makes sense. With this Venus retrograde, it's like taking this Venus retrograde, and instead of applying it to relationships that are around you with those types of resolution, it's more about personal reconciliation and personal resolution. And the energy is perfect for this right now, but you're going to have to do your part of it. And you're going to recognize that you haven't done your part of it and that it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for you to get in there and kind of get past that. But I would just say utilize and lean on that Empress energy that really just, it's manifesting as beautiful, balanced, feminine energy. You're still working on that, but you're coming across like incredibly well balanced. And you've got these opportunities that are kind of dancing around you right now. You've had several opportunities that are in front of you. I feel like some of you have taken them, and these are things that are going to help to. We have an exciting opportunity that's going to set your soul on fire. And the number of you who have reached out to me and said, I know what it is. Oh my gosh, I'm heading this direction. Now, a lot of you also reached out and said, okay, so I'm not able to keep it up. I'm very frustrated. I keep going back to obsessive thinking. How do I keep my attention on this new thing? This is going to be part of it. And it's not that opportunity, but it does open up that opportunity to be a little bit more available to you. And honestly, a slew of opportunities. This is not a single opportunity, although there's that one that we've been talking about for months. It's in there, and you letting this tower fall basically clears the path for you to rebuild in a way that includes this. It's really fantastic, and it's fun to I want to say it's fun to watch, but I'm watching the energy develop. And it's something that happens very slowly. You've got something building in you very slowly that ends up being very positive. And we're done. We're done pulling cups. We're done pulling cards over here. I saw the Knight of Cups over there, but it was in reverse and it didn't resonate with the reading. Still, though, there's a lot of positivity that's coming to you, and it's really just a matter of you being allowed to make this change that's been standing in front of you, allow the tower to fall, and intentionally redirect your energy away from some of that pain that has been taking up some of your head and heart space. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. We'll move to the extended reading, and that's where we're going to get in for those of you who want to jump in and understand a little bit more about what this is like on your person's side. And we know that the barrier, the boundary, it's not a boundary, it's a barrier. It's like it's actually just been in the way between their emotions and their feelings and everything else. So they haven't been able to access their feelings. You haven't been able to access their feelings. And no one has really been able to get in there and see what they truly feel about anything. So that's a lot smaller right now than what it typically is, which is a beautiful thing. But we still see your person kind of pushing back and having too much fear to truly execute on getting to a place where they're able to talk to you. And this is not surprising because the people who are coming back or the people who have come back did so unhealed without having resolved the third party situation that they're all living in. So it's not necessarily surprising, but it is a little bit frustrating. And it's always easier when we understand what's going on. So we'll go into the extended and we'll look a little bit more into how this is hitting them. But we're also going to look into a little bit more with you because this is such a powerful repeating message that wants to come across. We absolutely always like to look into the lesson for you, and we're absolutely going to do that in the extended too. So the link is down there below the video if you would like it, and I look forward to seeing you there, or I look forward to seeing you again in tomorrow's video.